Hi again, Risa here with another episode of Ask Risa. If this is the first video in this series that you've watched, I just want to introduce myself. My name is Risa Weaver-Enyon. I am a wedding planner in Sacramento, California, and every week I release a new video in this series basically just to help people plan their weddings, people who aren't hiring a full service planner, which is a service I offer. But if you're trying to do it on your own, there are a lot of things to know, so that's what this video series is for. And this video is part of a playlist. All the previous videos in my series are also in that playlist, so you can find those through this video or just by going to my YouTube channel. And if you have a question that you would like me to answer in a future video, feel free to comment below. So this week I am talking about how to hire a wedding florist. It's likely that you have never had to hire a florist for anything unless you throw a lot of fancy parties. So you may not know what your style is and how to actually go about asking the right questions to find the right florist. So starting with the style question, first just think about a couple of easy questions. Do you have a favorite flower? What is it? And what are your wedding colors? Because there's probably some flowers that fit in that color scheme really well. For instance, when I got married, I knew I wanted to have roses because roses are my favorite flower, and my wedding colors were red and gold. So red roses were a super obvious choice. We also worked in ranunculuses and peonies because they are similar to roses because they all have those layered petals, but they come in slightly different shades of red. So, and roses are very expensive, so we were able to even it out with some different types of flowers. So those are your two starting points. Pinterest and Instagram are super helpful when you're trying to think about florals because they're both visual, and so you can see a lot of pictures. Researching florists on Instagram is helpful because then you also get a sense of different styles, what the florist's style is, and whether that style speaks to you. So some arrangements and bouquets are very structured and some are much looser and more natural and have more of a just picked feel. So the more photos of flower arrangements you look at, the more you will start to gravitate toward one style or the other. And Pinterest is great because you can just search for different kinds of flowers. Like on my Pinterest board, I have individual boards for different colors of flowers. So I have a board for yellow florals, I have a board for blue florals, and that's a great way to see what's available out there in your color scheme. There's pretty much a flower for every color. So no matter what your color scheme is, you can certainly find a flower that will fit in with it. You can also use Pinterest to help you get a sense of your style by collecting a bunch of photos. You just start a board for florals, pin random stuff to it as you see it, either from the internet or from Pinterest itself. And then when you have maybe 30 or 40 pins, step back and take a look at it and see what you're pinning consistently. See what your commonalities are. Are you always pinning really loose, natural looking arrangements and bouquets, or are you pinning a lot of structured stuff? Are you pinning things that are tall arrangements in the middle of the table, or more compact lower arrangements, or long garlands that go down the center of a long table? Maybe you're thinking of doing banquet tables or farm tables. So just look to see what you're consistently pinning, and that will give you a good idea of what your style is and what you like. So once you've sort of narrowed down your style, then you can think about specific florists that you want to meet with. And it's definitely helpful to bring the florist at least some visual to illustrate what you're interested in, because the world of floral design is wide open. I mean, you can go down that rabbit hole pretty easily. So it's helpful to have at least a couple of photos that you can show them to give them an idea of what you like. Some practical things to talk to the florist about are, do they charge for delivery, and how much, and is there a travel fee if your wedding is a little bit further out or just further away from where they're located? Those are important things to find out. Will they make you a complimentary tossing bouquet if you're doing a bouquet toss? Some people opt not to do that, but if you are going to do it, will they throw that in for free? The tossing bouquet is generally just a smaller version of the main bouquet. Same flowers, same arrangement style, just smaller, easier to throw over your shoulder. Also, will they make a mock-up of your table centerpieces, which can be really helpful because it's one thing to talk about something in the abstract, but when you actually see it in person, maybe there's something about it that you might not like and you want to make a change. It's better to know that stuff in advance rather than walking into your wedding reception and be like, oh yeah, so it turns out I don't like that flower. Fantastic. So having a mock-up made ahead of time can be super helpful. You also might want to ask them how far in advance they make the arrangements, because florists do that. They store things in their walk-in coolers to keep them fresh, but it's just good to know how far in advance they make them. How many weddings they do on a given day, just so you know you can make sure you're getting the level of focus and attention that you want for your flowers. And maybe you'd like to know where they source the flowers. If you're concerned about environmental practices or labor practices or anything like that, you might want to find out where they get their flowers. Another thing to ask is whether they will provide extra stems on the wedding day. Sometimes as the planner, it's useful if it's hot, especially, some of the stems might wilt a little bit in the hot summer heat. And so if I have extra stems, I can pull out the saddest looking flowers and replace them with fresher ones. And also the photographer finds extra stems to be useful, because when they're taking pictures of your rings and your stationery suite, they like to jazz it up a little bit with some of the florals from your wedding. So asking for extra stems is also good. And then lastly, the containers for the centerpieces. Do those need to be returned after the wedding, or are they yours to keep? If they need to be returned, find out whether the florist will come to the venue and pick them up. A lot of florists I work with do that. Or does someone need to collect them at the end of the wedding and drive them back to the florist the next day or a couple days later? So those are all practical considerations once you've found your style. And like I said, if you have any questions either about florists or florals or anything else that you want me to answer in a future video, just leave a comment down below. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And you can subscribe to this channel. And if you subscribe and then you click on the little bell icon, you'll actually get notifications when I release new videos, which is every Wednesday. All right, thanks. Bye for now.